Hello and welcome to Running the Table, the podcast where we run through everything on the table in the world of sports. And if you thought the Aaron Rodgers news wasn't enough, we're not done. In the midst of March Madness, football is still king because you got free agency madness and blockbuster trades galore. And we got another one with Russell Wilson being dealt to the Denver Broncos. Wow.
Yeah.
Tim,
That pretty much sums it up right there.
are you ready to run
All
it?
right. I was gonna say, video done. Wow, that's it.
We still got to run the table.
Yeah, you know what? Let's run it. I'm very interested to take a deep dive into this one.
Oh yeah, because it was a very, very big one, right? Denver receives Russell Wilson, the 9-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion, and a 4th-round pick. But what's more interesting to me is the haul that Seattle got.
They sent the house over to Seattle.
Take my pesos.
Like, you can take
them
all.
Take my pesos.
It was when I saw like the amount of picks that they gave up, I was like, wow, they are really intent. They are that intent on the win now mentality. They're like, we will give you essentially whatever you want.
Oh, yes. Because
you give us Wilson.
Because Seattle acquired the 2022 and 2023 first-round picks and second-round picks of Denver. On top of that, they got a 5th-round pick in this year's draft, and Drew Lock, and Noah Fant, and Shelby Harris.
Yeah.
3 players and 5 picks.
And 3 solid players, mind you. I mean, in terms of quarterbacks in the league, Drew Lock is nothing to get like super excited about, but he's certainly not like one of the worst.
Well, here's the thing.
Here's the thing about Drew replacement quarterback.
Drew Lock is still young. He's raw. He's a strong-armed kid. And who knows, maybe a change of scenery is good for Drew Lock. We know he struggled a bit in Denver. He had some times where he showed some upside, like showed some flashes of brilliance. Yeah. But there were also times where he looked really, really bad with the football. But like with that arm strength and that youth still in the tank, hey, who knows? Maybe the Seahawks can make something out of him.
Well, and then you look at Noah Fant. It's like, talk about a guy that definitely takes away from Russell Wilson's potential receiving core on that Broncos team, but brings a very solid tight end talent over to the Seahawks, who, depending on whoever they have throwing to him, whether they stick with Locke or look elsewhere. Noah Fant has proven to be pretty consistently, no matter who's been throwing to him, around like a top 5 tight end in the league. So it's like it's a very solid pick
around there roughly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's right towards the bottom of that.
Give or take.
It's kind of hard to put him out of that 4 or 5 conversation at least. But
yeah, so the thing about Denver, let's break down Denver's side of this deal first. The thing that they needed was a quarterback, because as far as the other roster goes, you still have Javonte Williams, a stud in the backfield. You get Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy out wide, and on defense,
still also have Melvin Gordon as a backup running back too. So in terms of like running back tandems, that's pretty solid.
But then you look on defense, you have
really
Bradley Chubb and an absolutely elite secondary. So the Broncos, in terms of like skill position or like everywhere else that's not quarterback, they were fine. They were set. They don't need the draft picks. They don't need the cap. They were ready to win now. And the fact that you add Russell Wilson, a Super Bowl champion, one of the best quarterbacks in the game, this Denver Broncos team becomes ready to win right now. Right now in 2022, they are going to be very good. And you can just add Denver to the AFC gauntlet. I mean, my God, you look at the division, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, and now Derek Carr are all in the same division. And then in that conference,
that is one mighty division of quarterbacks.
No, and then you add in that conference, Josh Allen and Buffalo, Lamar Jackson and Baltimore, Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. Good luck for anybody.
You get a lot of teams that get left out just based on the fact of how solid that.
For anybody that wants to make the Super Bowl coming out of the AFC, good luck, because you're going to have to go through at least 2, maybe 3 of those guys. And as far as Russell Wilson goes, he gets into a situation that is very, very good for him, because let's not forget, Russell Wilson had to waive his no trade clause in order to come
He
to
could have
Denver.
said no to any of this. Yeah.
Yeah, he could have. But the only place that Russell Wilson really was looking, if a deal was to get made, was Denver. He was okay with it. The no trade clause has officially been waived. Russell Wilson has passed the physical for the Broncos. And when this new league year starts, Russell Wilson will officially become a Bronco. So let's look at the other side, the more sad side.
The Seattle Seahawks, how far they've fallen over the past
I
5
think
or so years.
The hilarious part about it was right after they dealt Russell Wilson, the Seattle Seahawks Twitter posted a video. Posted a video of Tom Hanks and Castaway going, "Well said, well said, where are you?"
Yeah, I saw that too, which of course has been deleted since then.
Yeah, which got very mixed reactions. I'm like, oh, Twitter's such a wonderful place. But then Seahawks fans are like, this is a slap in the face. How can you be doing this? You just ripped out our hearts and you're making a big joke out of it. I'm like, well, guess what? You got to laugh at yourselves every once in a while. But that's neither here nor there.
You got to understand it's over and done.
Yeah. Seattle, wipe the slate clean.
Yeah.
The old regime is gone. The last traces of the Legion of Boom and that Super Bowl champion they've now officially been swept away. And this haul that Seattle got, I'm hearing different sides of like, oh, Denver won the deal, Seattle won the deal. It's a win-win for both teams.
Yeah, I really think that both teams won this deal based on what they got out of it and the overall outlooks of their team, where they want to go from here.
Because if we dive a little bit deeper into these picks, I mean, Seattle has the 9th overall pick now and the 40th overall pick in this year's draft. And then in next year's draft, they have Denver's first round pick and Denver's second round pick. So you get the additional picks that you could use to get somebody that can impact your team now. And they save $11 million to take on $26 million in cap hit. Seattle does for Russell Wilson's contract, but okay, fine. But then some additional moves that they've made. They've cut Bobby Wagner, which, again, another tough one for Seahawks fans to swallow because Bobby Wagner, a real
fan favorite and a complete staple of their defense for
future Hall of
almost
Fame.
A decade.
Future Hall of Famer. No doubt about it. There's zero doubt in my mind. But they save about $16.6 million in cap space, which I think is big for them in order that they can go get more guys to sort of, rebuild the team in the image that they want to. But the main message that this sends is that Seattle's starting over.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, it's tough to watch as a Seahawks fan. And obviously Noel, our good friend, is a diehard Seahawks fan. You gotta pour one out for him because it's a tough time to be a Seahawks fan because that it's gonna be a little bit before they potentially come back to any sort of contention. And obviously you see all of those former guys now either getting released or shipped elsewhere. So it leaves the franchise itself kind of in shreds, but there is absolutely hope and outlook for the future based on what they got back. They did not get completely gypped out of this deal because, of course, the Seahawks were absolutely in a place where they could have. Obviously, Wilson had to say yes, but they didn't necessarily have to give up Wilson by any means. And Broncos were obviously very desperate to be in that win now state. So that's why they got so much out of this deal. So they've got some building blocks that they gained. They got some picks to help bring in some other ones, and they build some cap space to see what type of moves that they might want to make in this upcoming free agency and any free agency in these next couple of seasons. So we could see them come with an entirely new roster in the next couple of seasons and potentially come back as an interesting team to watch. But this upcoming season is going to be a real tough one for the Seahawks fans and the 12th man up in Seattle.
Yeah, the bigger picture for both teams, it's that it's a win-win for both parties. Denver, the future is now. They get their franchise-altering quarterback. They took a chance on Russell Wilson, and they're going to be very, very good very, very soon. And Seattle, it opens the door for them to start over. Their present may be pretty bleak, but their future, with the amount of draft capital and the return that they got in general from Denver in this deal, opens the door for a lot of interesting possibilities. So how that team wants to rebuild, it's up to them.
Yeah, because the other big key that'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks is, reportedly, from what I've heard, nothing particularly solid yet. But given everything they've done so far and like their fire sale, that they're also looking
more
potentially
More
they're
trades?
potentially listening
More trades?
for deals for Tyler Lockett,
Yay, more trades.
which would be another big cap saver for them, because he is a big contract of his own, which would then leave DK Metcalf as their number one wide receiver still on his rookie contract. So if they shipped him somewhere, got some other either guys or some more draft capital, they would really have quite a haul going into these next couple of years to retool and rebuild this team. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out, whether or not they'll keep those two guys or whether or not they'll leave DK Metcalf as sort of the lone offensive weapon standing. But it's definitely an interesting one to see for the Seattle team and what's going to be the outlook of that franchise.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless for both teams, and it is a blockbuster trade that we have not seen in a long, long, long time. But hey, the future is, we'll see what it holds for both franchises. And that's all we got. Russell Wilson is a Denver Bronco. And how about the start to the NFL offseason? It is going to be a crazy one. As we are covering March Madness in college basketball, football is still happening. There's still stuff in the NFL. So you bet we're going to cover that too, because we run through the table everything that's happening in the world of sports. So we take no exceptions.
We got you covered.
Absolutely. But until next time, like and subscribe for more Running the Table content, and we out. Peace.